A long time ago, in Power Line, Aba, in Compound 31, a compound where everybody talked loudly, lived a woman called Adaeze, the self-proclaimed senior tenant. Nobody gave her that title, though. She crowned herself. Adaeze was a big, bold, round Aba woman, the kind that walks into a place and blocks half the breeze. She talked fast, walked fast, and carried trouble on her shoulder like shoulder pad. She sold second-hand sponge wigs at the junction. Yes, she had different varieties. Some were yellow like ripe pawpaw, some were red like fresh palm oil, some were orange like sunny Fanta, and then there is the purple one that looked confused. She also sold Apola shoes that made pa 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 on the floor. Then she sold beads, cheap earrings, and hairnets. Her shop was small, oh, one old kiosk that looked like it needed prayers and fasting. But even though it looked empty, Adaeze behaved like she was running a bar branch of Balenciaga. Every morning, she would stand in front of the shop, raise a bright wig like trophy, and shout, "Buy two, get one free. Na Beyonce wear this wig last week, oh. Original Aba beauty supply." Meanwhile, the wig was shaking like it was tired of being advertised. Let's come to her makeup. My paddies, Adaeze's makeup, is another story on its own. She rubbed blush on her cheeks the way children rub powder when they are playing mommy and daddy. Her lipstick never stayed in one place. Half of it would be on her lips. The other half would be plotting its own journey. Then she wore tight dresses that held her stomach so tight she ended up looking like Winnie the Pooh going for clubbing. Her look was loud. Her voice was even louder. And her pride was the loudest. So, because she had been in that compound for years, she believed she was assistant landlady, aka senior tenant. If someone boiled beans and the smell passed her door, she would shout, "Who they cook without permission? You don't cook smelly things in this compound." If a new tenant greeted her, "Good evening," she would reply, "Add senior. Senior Adaeze, good evening, ma." But that's not all, oh. Adaeze arranged buckets in the tap to suit herself, of course. She controlled the washing line. She inspected corridors as if she was landlord's special agent. She was doing all these things on her own, oh. Nobody sent her. Nobody even acknowledged her so-called help. But that was Adaeze's life. And in all her noise and confidence, she believed nobody in that compound could match her energy. Well, until the day Chinwe, the quiet widow with calm eyes, moved into room 4. It was on a calm Tuesday morning, oh. A taxi stopped in front of the compound gate. The door opened gently, and a woman stepped out with her small Ghana must go and her little boy. Her name was Chinwe. She was quiet, soft-spoken, and neatly dressed in a simple Ankara. She was the type of woman whose footsteps don't make noise. Sadly, she was a widow, but nothing in her face carried trouble. If quiet had shape, Chinwe was the shape. So the moment she entered the compound, the whole compound fell in love with her softness. Mamuche, who usually minded only her pepper soup, immediately whispered, "Ah, this one is a good woman. See calmness." Papa Cyprian nodded like a judge in a beauty pageant. "Oh yes, she looks responsible. She will not bring wahala." Everyone liked her, except one person, Adaeze, our almighty self-declared assistant landlady. She stood at the corridor, with her hands on her waist and stomach pushing against a tight dress that refused to pity her. Her orange sponge wig was tilted to one side like he wanted to fall, but then changed his mind. Then she looked at Chinwe from head to toe, the way a headmistress looks at a new pupil, and thought, threat spotted. From that moment, Adaeze made sure she marked territory and made sure Chinwe understood her role as senior tenant. As Chinwe arranged her things, Adaeze marched forward. My sister, in this compound, we greet senior first though. So next time, greet me before anybody else. Inano? Chinwe smiled and said, okay. Good afternoon, Adaeze. Adaeze nodded with satisfaction. Then, another day, Chinwe carried her clothes towards the clothing line. But before she even spread one singlet, Adaeze suddenly appeared like CCTV footage. Hey, shift to that side. That part is for senior tenants. Your own is the corner near the wall, okay? Chinwe nodded and moved slowly. Another day, when Chinwe tried to fill her bucket at the tap, Adaeze dragged her own bucket forward with her full chest. My bucket goes first. Respect your senior, please. Chinwe simply stepped aside, avoiding trouble like a plague. All this made Adaeze feel more powerful, strong and relevant. She walked up and down the corridor like landlady in training, watching Chinwe and marking her movements. As if Chinwe entered the compound to compete for her invisible yeye throne. But Chinwe did not even say a word. She just minded her business, held her son close, and gave Adaeze that calm smile women give when they see drama boiling, but choose not to stir the pot. One warm afternoon, my people, the sun was resting directly on compound 31, like it had a personal beef with Aba people. Chinwe was in her room folding clothes gingerly when she heard a knock on the door, and then Adaeze's voice followed, pushing itself through the door before the door even opened. Auntie Chinwe, please, Biko, let me enter small, Biko. Before Chinwe could answer, Adaeze's big body filled the doorway. Her orange sponge wig was sitting on one side, and the blush on her cheeks looked like she used 2 hands to rub it in a hurry. She stood there, breathing fast, like she ran from Market Road. Meanwhile, she came from her room. Chinwe, my sister, my heart, my blessing, my beautiful new tenant. She kept the sweet names coming, and then she stepped inside the room as if she owned it. Nebiko, I need your help small, just small. You know, business is slow. My customers want red wig. She said she go come next week. I don't want to miss today's chance to buy. I want to make a purchase ASAP before the opportunity could pass me by. Chinwe looked at her calmly and said, what do you need, Adaeze? Adaeze placed a hand on her chest dramatically and started. Chinwe, one name, Biko, lend me 30k. Just 30,000 naira. And I promise you, in 2 weeks, I will pay you back. No shaking. 2 weeks. If I don't pay you, call me whatever you like. Chinwe hesitated for a moment. But after some sweet talking and persuasion from Adaeze, she decided to give in. What her neighbors for. She then opened her small purse, counted the money, and handed it over to her without many words. It was kinda in her nature to help. Hey! Adaeze almost knelt down in excitement. God bless you. You will never lack. See, 2 weeks sharp. No need to remind me. I, Adaeze, I am a woman of my word. Mark today's date. 2 weeks I will bring your money. She proceeded to hug Chinwe too tight, scattered her wrapper small, then danced out of the door as if the morning was a new marriage proposal. But, my paddies, I'm sure you all know, 2 weeks passed, and guess what happened? Adaeze changed completely. On the 14th day, Chinwe met her in the corridor and greeted her politely. Adaeze, good evening. Adaeze did not even turn. She lifted her chin and answered haphazardly, evening. Chinwe smiled patiently and asked, please, about the 30,000. Before she could even finish, Adaeze dropped her bucket loudly and started shouting like someone that lost a nut from her brain. Chinwe, is it because of small 30,000 naira you want to be disturbing me in this compound? Are you the first person to lend somebody money? Me, as a senior tenant, you are talking to me like small pikin. Ha! Wahala dey o. Chinwe was surprised. She looked at Adaeze, spit all the nonsense in her mouth. Then she nodded and walked away without even saying another word. But Adaeze was only just getting started. Our people say that it is not the sweet tone used in borrowing money that is used in paying back. That same evening, Adaeze went from room to room, complaining loudly. Can you imagine? Because of small 30k, ordinary 30,000 naira. This new tenant wants to be talking to me anyhow. Me that has lived here before half of you even knew the street. Hey! The neighbors just looked at her and shook their heads. That was not all though. By nightfall that day, her WhatsApp status had turned to motivational drama. Some people forget those who helped them climb. When a person sees small change, respect dies. In this life, stay in your lane to avoid insults. Adaeze kept them coming. Chinwe saw all of these things, but she did not reply. And she didn't even ask her again for the money. The neighbors sitting under the mango tree exchanged glances. Mamuche whispered, this woman is pushing her luck. Papa Cyprian nodded like he was reading a newspaper. If this Chinwe talks, this compound is gonna shake. But Adaeze continued. If Chinwe opened her window, Adaeze would shout, close it small, fresh air should not be wasting. If Chinwe's son dropped biscuit crumbs in front of their own room, Adaeze would march there with broom like security. Chinwe, keep your boy in order. He is littering the compound. Chinwe chose to ignore all this rubbish. But the day everything scattered was the day she insulted her son publicly. It was one evening, children were playing 10-10, and Chinwe's little boy was filling his small cup with water from a tap that wasn't even in use. He poured a little too much water, and some of it touched Adaeze's Ebola. Just small water. Ordinary small water. Adaeze screamed like someone that was poured acid. Hey! Look at this stubborn child. No home training. You want to spoil this my expensive shoe with your carelessness, Abi? The whole compound froze. Even the children stopped playing. Chinwe heard the sound and stepped out quietly. She lifted her son gently, brushed his cheek, and told him to go inside. Adaeze was still fuming, talking and shouting like somebody paid her to talk. Imagine, small boy that cannot keep water in one place. How is he gonna grow? Children of nowadays, very spoilt little things. Chinwe did not reply then. She stared at Adaeze while she kept running her mouth. Papa Cyprian whispered under his breath, well, this is it. This is it. Adaeze has opened the door she cannot close. Even Mamuche held her wrapper and shook her head. Chinwe is calm, but she is not stupid. This insult is too much. Meanwhile, Adaeze kept going. Chinwe, Warn this your boy, oh. He's pouring water everywhere. Is this how you train children? Adaeze, you have talked enough. The compound froze, anticipating quality drama. Chinwe stepped closer and continued. Adaeze, you shouted at my child over common water. Yet, you haven't opened your mouth to say anything reasonable about the 30,000 naira you borrowed and refused to return. Adaeze blinked fast. Which one is that again? Ordinary 30,000 naira. You must be very stupid, Adaeze. If it was so ordinary, why did you have to borrow it? And worse still, why haven't you returned it? The neighbors gasped small. Drama. But Chinwe was only warming up. She folded her hand behind her back, stood tall, and released the next line like a bomb. Adaeze, do you know your problem? Number one, you have a basket mouth. You talk too much. And people that back a lot are empty vessels. They don't bite. Number two, if you actually relax, maybe someone can help your life. Imagine forming senior stupid tenant when you're owing 5 months rent. Hey! Adaeze's wig shifted spiritually. Me? 5 what? Who told you that? Before she could finish, the landlady herself walked out from her room like she had been waiting for this opportunity. Adaeze, don't you even argue. You owe me 5 months rent. 5. I kept quiet because I know your mouth is sharp. But today, let everybody hear it. Pay me my rent. The compound almost collapsed. Mama Uche covered her mouth. Papa Cyprian drops his cup of garri. Hey! Adaeze stood there, shocked, blinking like generator lights. Landlady, you too? Is it because of small 5 months? Chinwe did not even let her finish. Everything is small. 30,000 is small. 5 months rent is small. Respect is small. But your mouth is big. Your pride is big. Your noise is big. Your stomach is like a tank. Even your tight dress is big. People started laughing. Even the sun reduced its brightness to watch the drama properly. Chinwe stepped even closer until Adaeze had no choice but to step back. You borrow money like pure water, but you behave like the landlord's first daughter. You shout up and down like you have everything under your feet. But your shop is empty. Those wigs you raise up every day, are they not tired? They have seen more sun than solar panel. Hey! At this point, Adaeze opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Chinwe continued, still with a calm but venomous voice. You carry yourself like a big woman, but the only thing big about you is that wig of yours and that stomach you are squeezing so tightly into that nylon dress. The laughter that followed was dangerous. Adaeze held her chest. Jesus, Chinwe, this is too much. Shh. No. What is too much is your pride. What is too much is your noise. What is too much is your mouth that keeps running like a leaking tap. You insulted a little boy, my son. So today is your own day. I got time today, Adaeze. Then she stepped back and gave her the final blow. Listen, you better return my 30,000 naira in 24 hours. If you don't, you will know the meaning of calm madness. I dey calm, but I dey craze. Adaeze, I dey craze. A heavy silence swept the compound. Adaeze laughed shakily. Chinwe, is it not small 30,000? You are giving me deadline. Are you okay? Abeg, you never reach like that. Chinwe turned away calmly and said, "Oh, I'm very okay. But you won't be after 24 hours. Then she entered her room and closed her door softly. My paddies, that soft door closing carried more threat than a gunshot. Neighbors whispered, "Jesus, Jesus, Chinwe don't vex so." So Chinwe they talk like this. Adaeze has seen what she's looking for. Hey, only 24 hours? She better run because I know she did not keep 30k anywhere. But Adaeze, in her foolish confidence, hissed and said, "Let her come. Nobody can scare me. Nobody." But she had no idea that Chinwe did not threaten people. She finished them, and the countdown had already begun. By the time the sun rose the next day, the whole of compound 31 were already waiting. Nobody said it out loud, but everybody was secretly counting down the hours. Even the compound cat sat near the tap, acting like he came out for a meeting. Everyone wanted to see whether Chinwe meant the 24 hours she gave Adaeze, or whether the quiet widow only used mouth to frighten her. But when Chinwe finally stepped outside, the compound knew something big was about to happen. She didn't even look angry. She just tied her wrapper well, picked up her small bag, and walked out of the compound with someone that had decided that what belonged to her must come back to her today. 3 minutes later, the shout that came from Powerline Market could wake a sleeping lizard. Before the neighbors could even gather, Chinwe was already walking back into the compound. Behind her was Adaeze's wigs, all of them. The yellow one that looked like Fanta, the red one that could break marriages, the orange one that glowed like sunset, and the purple one that looked like confused choir uniform. She carried everything, one by one. Even the 2 Atola shoes from the shop were tucked under her arm like missing children that she came to rescue. She entered her room, dropped everything inside, came back out, and sat down in front of Adaeze's door with a very heavy pestle lying across her lap. Not the small one used for grinding pepper. No, this was the big one they used to pound fufu during Christmas. The neighbors moved closer. Someone whispered, "Hey, Chinwe is about to write history today. Adaeze should run. 2 minutes later, my people, Adaeze returned from wherever it is she went to, swinging her big waist like usual. Her orange wig was sitting northwest on her head. The moment she looked at her kiosk and saw it completely empty, she stopped walking. Her legs refused to move again. Her mouth opened, closed, and opened again. Then her neighbor that shouted earlier came out to give her the full gist. Adaeze let out her own scream that made even mosquitoes jump. "Jehovah Jireh! Chinwe! Chinwe! What is this now? Who packed my shop?" She rushed down to the compound and continued shouting, "Chinwe, why did you pack my shop now? Is it because of ordinary 30k? Chinwe did not raise her voice, so she simply tapped the pestle lightly and said, "I packed what belongs to me. When you're ready to pay my 30,000 naira, you will collect your things." Adaeze rushed forward. Her wig was almost falling off her head. "Chinwe, is it because of small 30k? You want to disgrace me? 30,000 naira? Ordinary." "Well, if it is so ordinary, return it." Adaeze stuttered. Chinwe, I thought you were joking yesterday. Who does this kind of thing now? Who carries somebody's shop like that?" Chinwe shifted her pestle, blocking the doorway with one swift movement. "Nne, you will not enter this room today unless you pay me my full money." The compound scattered emotionally. Even the landlady stood by her window with her wrapper on her chest, watching like cinema, nodding proudly. Yes, Adaeze had finally met her match. After this episode, I just might hire Chinwe to collect my rent from this woman. She has skills. Ah! Meanwhile, Adaeze tried to enter the room, but Chinwe lifted the pistol slightly. "If you take one more step, I will design this your body in a way you will not like. Pay me my money." When Adaeze saw that this music was not the type she could dance, she dropped to her knees. Her whole body was shaking like generator with a bad plug. "Chinwe, biko, no, have mercy. I didn't know you were this type, oh. I didn't know you have this kind of strength, oh. I thought you were gentle now. Chinwe, why did you deceive me? Why did you deceive me with a quiet face?" Chinwe was not moved at all. "You insulted my child. You mocked me in this compound. You walked around forming senior tenant. But the day I asked for my money, you posted motivational quotes, abi? Helper, you sabi talk, abi? Pay me my money." Adaeze started crying. That kind of cry that comes from the stomach. Okay, please, just give me 2 weeks. The lady in the next street wants to buy 2. Let me just sell and return with the money. I beg you. I kneel down. I am sorry." Chinwe looked at her for a while. Then she nodded and stood up. She went to open the door and said, "You will take 3 weeks, but you will add 2,000 naira interest on top of my money." Adaeze staggered back. 2,000 kwa? Hey, oh Chinwe, please now, don't add interest on top, please. Chinwe closed the door and said, "Then leave the wigs. Simple." No, please, I accept. I will pay the interest. Just give me. She carried the 3 wigs as if she was carrying hot yam and ran out of the compound. She began begging customers like never before in her life. Under the hot sun of Aba, under the noise of keke horns, under her own shame, she sold all 3. When she came back, she was looking like what I don't know. Her makeup had washed away from sweat. Her Apola sandals were covered in dust, and her pride had deflated like punctured balloon. She knelt down again. "Chinwe, please, here is your 30k and the 2k interest. I will never behave like that again. Forgive me, please. I was foolish. Please forgive me." Chinwe counted the money carefully, nodded and said, "You can carry the rest of your things." Adaeze grabbed her shoes and wigs like rescued children. Her eyes were red, her legs were weak, and for the first time since she entered that compound, she didn't raise her voice at anyone again. From that day, the whole of compound 31 noticed a miracle. Adaeze began greeting everybody gently. "Good afternoon, sir. Good evening, ma. Sorry, abeg, make I shift for you." No more senior tenant drama and no more forming authority. She spread her clothes quietly at the far end. She minded the way she spoke because she realized that you never really know anybody's character until you step on their toes. So she decided she wasn't going to be stepping on toes anymore. Chinwe, on her part, returned to her peaceful life, minding her business like nothing happened. She carried her son to school in the morning, cooked her food in the evening, and greeted everyone with the same calm smile. But that pistol she used remained in her room, shining, clean, resting gently like a weapon that had done its duty. And that was how peace temporarily returned to compound 31 in Aba, the day Adaeze finally learned that calm people are not weak. Their madness just has better timing. The end. And that brings us to the end of today's story. Kindly drop the moral lessons you derived from this story in the comments below. But before I go, I have two very sweet paddies I want to shout out to. Ababiangela 7166 and Real Kolu for me. Thank you so much, my lovely paddies, for being the first to comment on my previous video. I appreciate the promptness and the love. Thank you. If you've not subscribed, now will be a good time to do so. I promise you're gonna love it here. Remember, don't let anyone dim your shine. Okay? I love you and I'll see you soon. Ngano. Bye.